Guys, Pocahontas is the dark horse. Oh my gosh. I was like, okay, I love Pocahontas, great movie, let's watch it. Cool, like thinking it's probably gonna be like a middle runner. I was blown away. I was blown away. I have so many things. First off, the music. The score for this movie was incredible. Incredible. I looked it up. It won the Oscar that year and it deserved it. Oh my gosh, the score, there's like, it just makes you feel all the feelings and all these emotions. And I'm like, whoa, so impressed, so impressed. What do we have here? Interesting thing they did. They introduced the man first. John Smith was the main character, and you don't meet Pocahontas until 8 minutes in. That's different. I didn't really like it at first, but I think it was definitely an interesting take. I really enjoyed the wind as a character. I think that kind of started, it paved the way for Frozen 2. I'm going to say that. Pocahontas paved the way for Frozen 2. Also for Moana. Like, having elements as characters, Pocahontas was the OG. I'm going to say it here unless I get proven wrong later. Okay. Let's get into some beef. I've got some beef. First off, I'm realizing this movie is not the only one, but I'm realizing that in Disney, a recurring theme in all of these Disney princess movies is like not honoring your parents' wishes or not wanting to do what your parents tell you to do. And I'm like, why? Why is that? Why do we gotta be like that, Disney? Like, just come on, honor your father and mother. Get your crap together. So the song Just Around the River Bend, I had an epiphany while listening to it. So it's like Pocahontas' big, like, oh, this is what I want to do with my life song. It's good, but I think it like I'm gonna blame it. I'm blaming Just Around the River Bend is the reason that so many millennials still live at home. I'm saying it. Come at me. It's the reason. Just Around the River Bend is like talking about like, yeah, well, there's all these things that are like good and stable and responsible, but I want to have an adventure, so I'm going to do that instead. There was one part and it was like a good and sturdy husband who builds good and sturdy homes, but I want an adventure. And I'm like, okay, yes, you should only marry someone like for love and all that, but also like, what's wrong with a good and sturdy house? Like a good and sturdy life. What's wrong with that? Why are we dissing this, Disney? Like, I'm blaming it. I'm blaming this song on the reason like a whole generation was like, I'm gonna go do the fun thing and responsibility can wait. It's your fault. I'm just saying it right now. It is what it is. Language. That's my final issue I have with this movie, is the issue of languages. So I was watching it, and the first like bit before Pocahontas and John Smith meet, I was like, I wonder how they're going to handle this language barrier thing. I don't remember how it happens, but I know they have conversations in English. So do they just ignore a language barrier? What is it? So here, okay, Pocahontas speaks English. Like, we hear her speaking English words. And then she meets John Smith, and when they're first talking, she is not speaking English. She is speaking whatever language of her people is, okay? And they make it seem as though she's not supposed to know English, that we hear her speaking English because they want us to understand. Like, this was before, I guess, like, subtitles were cool, and I guess they've never done subtitles in a Disney movie, so whatever. But so I guess we're supposed to believe that when we hear her speaking English, like to her dad and to her friend, also her best friend is a solid character. I am all here for Pocahontas' best friend. Anyway, she's speaking English, so I guess we're supposed to believe that when we are hearing her speak in English in that time, she's actually speaking her native language. Because when she meets John Smith, he's talking to her in English. She starts talking back in her native language, and he's like, oh, you don't understand me, do you? And they just kind of have this look where it's like, oh yeah, we don't speak the same language. And then the wind comes in. The wind comes and is like sweeping around them, and you hear like Mother Willow's voice being like, listen with your heart and you will understand. And then all of a sudden she's speaking in English. Did the wind give her the gift of speaking in tongues? Like, Did it just remove the language barrier and all of a sudden, like, he can understand her even if she's still speaking in her language? Like, they never resolve it, and she just speaks English for the whole rest of the movie, and everybody just speaks English, and her dad is speaking English to John Smith at the end. It was cheap. I'm not here. I have so many questions. I will say that is like my biggest issue with this movie is that. But I also get, it was the mid-90s, like, I don't know if that's an excuse, but I feel like it is. That was my only issue. I'm like, oh, come on. You could have done better. The tattoo that Pocahontas has, that like a lot of people in her village have, is straight fire. I love it. I'm a fan of the tattoo. I'm totally here for it. Also, Kocoum's death. Guys, can we just... Jealousy is not attractive, and this is what can happen. Like, he sees the woman he's into. I don't want to say he loves her because they don't like talk much at all. But he's totally into her. He wants to marry her, and he walks up and sees her kissing the enemy, and he like goes in like a jealous scream rage run at the guy, and he dies. Okay, sure. The guy should not have shot. Should not have shot. No. No. But like, Kocoum need to calm down. That was a bit of an overreaction. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. And then the scene after that. Wow. So I don't know if you guys know this. If you haven't seen it, you need to look it up right away. But there is actually a deleted song from this movie, and it is a straight fire love ballad. Like, it's awesome. So after Kocoum's death and John is being held like in her village, and her best friend, again, shout out to the best friend, she's a baller, walks up and she's like, gets Pocahontas a meeting in there alone with him. And what we see in the movie is they just have this little conversation, and he says the wonderful line of, "I would rather die tomorrow than live 100 years with never knowing you." Sweet. Then they're supposed to sing a song. And guys, you can find the song on YouTube. It's amazing. Please watch it. It's called If I Never Knew You. And it is such a good song. And it is so well written. It is beautiful. There's like a pop remix of it is kind of what's playing under the ending credits. It's so good. But I was thinking about it as I'm watching the movie, and I'm just like, they've spoken like 3 times. This is a little intense. Like, that escalated real quick. And I know it's Disney, and this is why Frozen was Frozen and had the line of, you know, you can't marry a man you just met. But like, I don't know. It hit me in a different way with this. I was like, come on, guys. Like, and then my final issue, which is weird that I have a lot of issues with this movie because I think it's fabulous. You're about to see why when I get into the scores. But so John Smith gets shot. Not funny. But he gets shot, and then it's like, okay, well, we're gonna take him back to England so he can survive a gunshot wound. What? Okay, his friends are like, we have to take him back or he will die. And I'm like, the boat ride from Virginia to England? Wasn't that like a month back then? If he was gonna die of a gunshot wound, he would succumb on the boat. Like, he's not gonna like just stay in that state for a month so that he can be healed when he gets back. No, that's not how injuries work, Disney. A month? I have no words. That was my last, like, really lame excuse to separate them at the end. But let's just ride that wave into our 3 categories because it is so applicable to why, as a role model, I gave Pocahontas a 10 out of 10. Here's the thing. Yeah, she's a little defiant to her dad, but she's never outright, like, okay, she kind of is at one point, but she's not really like outright disobedient. She's not like, well, I know what's best. She's like, well, I think I can fix this problem, so I'm going to go try and fix the problem. She does think she knows better, but she still respects her dad. throughout the whole thing. She is an advocate for people. I mean, she like is gonna go like risk her life to be like, hey, just because they are different from us doesn't mean they are wrong. Also, that song Savages, whoa, intense for a Disney film. But she's like, no, we are the same. Like, just because, like, so good. She is an advocate. And at the end, when she's like, I want to come with you. It's kind of like this moment of like, I want to come with you. She says, I am more needed here. And I just have to say a shout out to Disney for showing us an example where somebody chooses like their responsibility and their position that they hold with their family and their people over like a love fling. I'm just a fan of it. She chose her people over her one man. And you know what? Hate me if you want. I'm giving her a 10 out of 10 for it. I'm a big fan. Oh my gosh, the ballad Colors of the Wind. Guys, I forgot how incredible of a song this is, especially in the context of the movie. I mean, not only is it relevant to the plot, it is so relevant to the plot, it moves the plot forward. Character development, oh my gosh. Not only do we get to see her heart for like people and creation, but we also get to see John Smith grow as a person tremendously in this song. And the message of the song, guys, like, I don't know if any of these other ballads we've looked at have had such significant of a message outside of the movie. Like, this whole song is basically like, take care of the earth, and also like, just because we're different doesn't mean one of us is better. Amazing. Which is why I'm breaking the rules, fam. Here we go. 10 out of 10, not good enough. An 11 out of 10. That's right. I couldn't even believe it myself. An 11 out of 10. It's incredible. I had to do it. And then finally, for the message of the movie, I think the big message I get is this idea of just because we're different doesn't mean we have a different value, doesn't mean that we are not equal. Like, her whole thing, that line from Colors of the Wind is like, you think the only people who are the people who look and think like you, which is so wrong, right? Like, and then even that whole, like, the Savages song, which I was sitting there like, oh my gosh, this is really bad. But then it showed us, like, that both sides thought awful, misguided things about the other just because they were different and didn't take the time to get to know them. And it reminds me of this verse, I think it's in Colossians, where it says, in Christ there is neither Jew nor Gentile, male or female, slave or owner, like there are circumcised, uncircumcised, like there is only Christ. And I just love it because in Christ we are all equal. And he has assigned us the ultimate value that we have the image of Christ. We have the imago Dei, the image of God. We were made in his image. So no matter who you are, no matter what color your skin is or where your position is in life, you have the equal value as anybody else. 10 out of 10. Do you know what that is, guys? That's a 31. Nobody has cracked 30. 29 was our highest. 31. Guys, I don't know. Well, here's the real question. Am I scoring the movie as a whole, or am I scoring the princess? That is the really difficult question, which I haven't really answered until this moment. Because if I'm scoring just overall general effect, Pocahontas is at the top. I didn't see this coming. Dark horse is Pocahontas. Pocahontas is our dark horse. Because, guys, I can't believe it's happening. But it just happened. She took the top spot. She took the top spot. Amazing. Okay. Wow. Princess and the Frog is coming up in a couple of days. I have never seen that movie. So we're getting a fresh set of eyes. Let's see where Tiana belongs.